Okay. How would you describe the culture in Texas?
In Texas. Oh, geez. It is very blunt. Everybody is very loud, and we're not afraid to say like exactly who we are, regardless of your point of view. But it's not laid back whatsoever. But like I said, I feel like Wisconsinites and Texans have a lot of things in common. But we are a very proud state. We are very proud of everything that we do, and um, we're like, yeah, we like barbecue, yeah, like it's we're loud and we're proud, and nobody Texas harder than Texans. I don't know how to say that, but
Yeah,
that's pretty
I'm
much.
uh I'm understanding that pretty well. What do you think the differences are in culture between all the regions? Like whether it be Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, Austin, El Paso?
The differences, they do differ a lot. And I learned that especially living in the valley for so long. And when I moved it to San Antonio and people were calling this South Texas, and I was like, this is not South Texas.
What's the valley?
The
What is
valley
that?
valley is like Edinburgh. It's further, it's an hour from Corpus Christi, more
Oh,
south.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's very south, an hour away. I lived 45 minutes away from the border. So it just kind of,
Wow.
it rubs me the wrong way when I hear like people from San Antonio or Austin or just call San Antonio South Texas, because I know in my heart that it's not.
Yeah.
Because so South Texas, which is the valley and all that, it's very conservative,
Okay.
very a lot of Hispanic culture is embedded in that area for sure.
Yeah.
Um, my grandpa would literally walk from Mexico to, he would cross the border like nothing, because he owned like herds and herds of cattle, and he would sell it in the United States. So he would
Wow.
cross the border and take his cattle with him through the shallow areas to sell on the United States side. So that's how close
Really?
I was to the border. Yes. So he owned a ranch in Mexico, and then they ended up moving to Edinburgh. Well, they moved
Yeah.
to Rio Grande City and then Edinburgh. So that's very conservative and very Hispanic. Tacos almost on every corner, a lot of Mexican food, authentic Mexican food, the one that has like Mexican dirt on it to make it the spices.
Yeah.
But it is, yeah. So when I lived in the valley, I was in Mexico almost every other weekend, and people freak out. They're like, how can you be in Mexico? It's just, isn't it scary? I'm like, no, I just go eat tacos and then come back and for the day. But the further north that you get, the more that Hispanic culture begins to die off. It's so
Like
strange.
fades. Okay.
Yeah, it like fades away. So I find it less here, where like if I start speaking Spanish or part of my Mexican smudges out of me, I get crazy looks. But um, and I'm the only teacher at my school that can speak Spanish.
Oh, really?
So
In San
I'm used,
Antonio.
yeah, and so I'm used as like a translator. Um, but I feel like it kind of dies off, and all of it together though is very Western, very like that ranch living. I think that's
Yeah.
all across Texas, to be
Hmm.
honest. It's all across Texas, like even down, because where I lived, I had a ranch. Well, my parents have a ranch. And so I feel like that part doesn't die off. But as far as like the demographic of people, it's very Hispanic further south. And then as you go
Yeah.
north, it kind of fades out, and it's more like that honky kind of white,
Yeah.
white Texas,
Yeah. Yeah.
white rich Texas. But yeah, it's totally different.
Okay. Quick fire round. Is that how you say it? The vibe of each like city in Texas. So Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, Austin. How would you
Houston,
like summarize each?
Houston, I think there's like a lot of uh like rap culture there. I don't know why. I guess because I think of Megan the Stallion. I don't know, Megan the Stallion. I think of like rap culture and like where and Mike Jones and like that's where they all came
Yeah.
from. So it's very like hip hop culture up there. And
It's
then
more
so,
urban. So it's
yeah.
okay.
And then so you go towards Dallas, which is where Fort Worth and all that stuff is like mainly like the rich like upper class country
Like old money.
ranches. Yes, old money,
Yeah.
like ranches and all that stuff. And then you go to Austin, which is keep Austin weird, and it's like music central.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of my weekends in Austin to go see like my friends' bands and stuff like that. That's where a lot of them pretty much start. San Antonio is a mix between that live music, and then also as far as that's the thing that I like about San Antonio, though. They still have like fiesta, and they still have like, as far as Dia de los Muertes, they have festivals for that too, you know, which is probably less likely to find in like Austin and Dallas and Fort Worth and all that. And
So it's a little bit more grounded in traditional culture.
in traditional culture,
Okay.
yeah. So San Antonio is a little bit of mix of like everything, which is why I decided to move here when I did move.